right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter, and welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. On today's episode, it is just solo. I know we have had two interviews back to back. We will be trying to keep those pertain to Thursday from now on, so we can talk about the market on Tuesday. Just have a solo dolo show, talk with the boys a little bit about NFTs, a little bit about the market, and I'm excited for today's show. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on because we had so many quality interviews. If you didn't catch those, you can catch those on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on the YouTube channel, on my Twitter page. We got you covered wherever you're looking for them. Today's show, we'll be talking about a lot. Let's go ahead and grab our co-host. Bring on our first guy, Door. Door, how you doing, my man?
Yo, what's going on, dog? Every day is a holiday, and we back for another one, man. I missed our daily shows. It's great having amazing people like Ivan on and Ryan from Motley Dow, but I miss you boys. I miss us just chopping it up about the market, man. So I'm happy to be here today.
Absolutely, especially Joe, because Joe got the easiest job in the world on interviews. It's really hard to know when Joe has a question or anything because he doesn't have his camera on. And so it's really hard for him to interject. But let's get Joe on the stage because I love hearing Joe's voice. Joe, how you doing, my man?
Yo, B, we're here, brother. Doing well, man. Excited to chop it up with the homies today.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it, man. It's been a while since we've just been able to sit down and chop it up like old times, man. It's been a while, so excited.
I know. It has. So, yeah, just to give you guys a heads up for those that are watching on the YouTube stream and everything like that, we will be having an interview this Thursday with UGS, Underground Society. Super excited for that one as well. Our goal mainly with this platform, when we do interviews, it is with quality projects and quality projects only. We try to make it our goal to reach out to the quality projects or vet the projects that are requesting for an interview. So we do appreciate you guys. Anybody that does come on here is somebody that we believe in, but that is not financial advice. That does not mean go out and ape into them or anything like that. It just means we're interested in what they are putting out into the market. But speaking of the market, let's talk some NFTs first. Guys, volume is down. Volume is very down. We're at 141K, which I know if you were to tell me we had 141K in like July or so, I would have been jumping for joy. It doesn't feel like I'm jumping for joy right now. It keeps going down. It went from like 500K soul to like 300. Now we drop to, mid twos, and now we're at mid ones, man. It just feels like there's no bottom in sight. Only 90K on Magic Eden. This is the first time in a while I've seen them below 6 digits. It just feels like NFTs kind of got clipped hard on momentum. And I think, we put out our thesis for a while, the SOL volatility going up massively. I mean, you 3x SOL price, you're going to see that a lot of NFTs are going to lag behind. A lot of interest is going to be more in spot SOL than in NFTs. And then we also had marketplace fees come back on. And while it doesn't seem like a crazy amount, when we are trading for 10% or so on these gains, rather than like, a 10x back in our previous bull run, that 1.5% on the buyer side and then 0.5% on the seller side or even the maker side, it tends to be a lot. It clips into your profits. And so there's a lot of risk there. It does mean that there's a lot less buyers. We are looking at Soul Sniper, just checking out the unique buyers, and 24-hour unique buyers is now at 6.1K. That is very low. That is close to our all-time low as long as I've been tracking this number. It's not healthy right now. So NFTs just kind of falling by the wayside. I want to kick it over to you first, Door, then we'll go to Joe. How are you feeling about the NFT market right now?
Yeah, dude, I'm feeling overall fine with the NFT market. We see these cycles all the time. And when things pump, we're going to have that period of where nothing's going on. So right now, instead of like complaining, oh, NFTs are down because of the SOL price, I'm out there actively looking for plays, which I'm going to pick up. And we can get more into this in the alpha section. But yeah, it sucks because, I purchased when SOL had that first leg up. I'm like, okay, NFTs pull back. So I jumped in. Then in some collections, and then SOL had another leg up, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should have waited a little bit longer. And it's like I'm down underwater on some of my NFTs, but I know they're bounced back, so I'm not too worried about that. But I do want the audience to take note and remember who was out there saying don't buy 8 Sol when it was below $10. I remember when everybody and their mama was like, I'm done. Sol's going to $2. Sol's going to $1. It's over. Sell it all. But your boys here on RareFUD, we're like, yo, let this thing drop lower. We're going to be buying. It can keep dropping. We're going to be here all the way into zero. Now, guess what? If you would have been with us from the beginning, you're up 3x right now, sitting good regardless. So, yeah, man, overall, I'm still feeling pretty good. I never thought I would be so happy to see a $24 Sol again.
Yeah, I know. It's nice because I started DCAing when we were below 30. So
Same.
even those buys are now feeling a little bit of, we're starting to get back up to the surface, and that's good. Again, it was always about positioning myself for the future, and I think that's what you did under $30, and we're starting to feel the fruits of that labor, even when it looked pretty disparaging. But I want to kick it over to Joe. How you feeling about the NFT market? How you feeling about the market overall?
Yeah, market overall, I'm liking DXY is showing weakness, possible dump down to the next horizontal level, and SPX showing SPY S&P, sorry, wow, is showing strength breaking out. If we can close a weekly, I'd be happy over this downtrending line of resistance that's held for a macro year. If we can get a weekly close, I'd be a lot happier with that inverse relationship, with people feeling like they can go a little bit more risk on, and then we'll see futures, we'll see crypto, and that stuff take a nice leg. Until that weekly close, it could just be another fake out with a nice little liquidity pump in this bear back down to lower ranges and creating a lower high. So we had, like, if I was a betting man, I'd say 50.3%, 49.7% bear, 50.3% bull. It's very close at the moment. Volatility is compressing, but I am leaning towards upward momentum here. NFT market wise, we're just waiting for that inevitable crab market, but I do think we're getting sold off in Sol NFTs because of the default nature of NFTs and what we had just happened with a lot of defaults with Sol pumping up and a lot of people having to floor a bunch of NFTs because they just got sat with. So we could see an over, like if we were looking at the market as an RSI indicator, we kind of look at maybe NFTs being a little bit oversold, which doesn't mean that's always a buy right away, but it does kind of get your mind turning back to that market.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. I do think we need to exercise a little bit of caution. I know a lot of people look, if you look at the Sol chart, there's clear bullish momentum. We keep kind of chopping it up for like a week, and then it's just pretty much our plateau for the next leg. I am hoping for a close above 26, because that gets us back into that range that we were in for like 6 months. That you feel a little bit more comfortable that, hey, this is our new big support. If we close in that range, I'm happy. The macro looks pretty good. I mean, the S&P looks solid right now. Like you said, we're breaking out of a downtrend. We're hoping, really, I'd say like that 4K level is really, like, if we hold that, I'm good. I'm happy. You also said the Dixie, for those that don't know, the DXY is the dollar index. So basically showing the strength of the dollar. If the dollar is going down, it basically means that, hey, you make more money and risk on assets. So just another little sort of relationship to look at when you are evaluating your trades, when you're evaluating if you want to be risk on in Solana NFTs, Solana itself, and all of that good stuff. Everything looks healthy right now. Honestly, I knock on wood. I'm hoping we don't go lower. I have wood right here. There we go. Yeah, I'm knocking on it, because we've seen what goes up usually comes down, and like part of me wants a little bit more of a retest of some other like high teens for Sol before we make this next leg up, just so we have some price history. Because if 26 doesn't hold on this next leg, then I think we go down a little bit, just because I think it'd be healthy. I think it'd be healthy price action. But nonetheless, I'm happy. We are 200% up from our lows. We crushed it on, like, I was buying heavily under $10. It feels good. It feels real good right now. But
yeah, dog. And the best part about it is, we always attribute Bonk, and Yabara brought it up in the chat, being the savior of the ecosystem. And it truly is, man. It's like Bonk happened when Sol was still around that, I think at least less than $12, dude. So if you cooked off of Bonk, you immediately profited if you didn't stable up your Sol from switching out of Bonk. So it was just like so perfect, man. So perfect. Double dipping.
yeah. Bonk's interesting right here. I mean, the volume's been waning. This is what happens. Meme coins do have life cycles. I've been tweeting about it nonstop that they have a lot of cycles within a cycle, right? Like what a normal Solana cycle is, which is like a super cycle when you compare it to a stock. Meme coins run 3x that speed, it feels like. So we're going to see multiple cycles. I do think that Bonk will rip faces. It's only a matter of time. But I don't know if that time's right now. Right now on the charts, I'm looking at somewhat of a double bottom. If you're looking at the daily, that would be nice. Then we can go back up. The key level to watch is that 1500 mark. If we can break 1500, I'm happy there. I'm happy there. Or 150, whatever chart you're looking at. But nonetheless, let's talk about some NFTs because that's pretty much the platform we go off of. Talking a little bit about the first thing I want to get into is there's been a little bit of C3 FUD, and we're RareFUD. We don't talk about FUD too much, but I think there's just it goes to show that there is still insider trading, such a loosely thrown term in this market, but we are in the crypto wild west, right? Like there are what some people know, some others don't, and it's because of their status, whether it is content creation or they are they have a huge following on Twitter or they have a ton of money. And I know there's been a lot of talk of Brando front running this news that they aren't making the payments anymore on these labs. These labs cost a ton too. I mean, like he sold his for 10K SOL. That is now sitting at about $240,000. That's a lot. And so look, it's one thing to like front run something that costs 10 SOL or something like that, and you like call the Pico top because you have insider info. This is a massive play, and so I don't know. C3 just I approach with caution when it's something sounds too good to be true, and we saw it with Rifters when they were saying, "Hey, we're basically giving you a risk-free asset." We'll see if the ETH mint goes well, and then we'll give you an ETH mint, or you can choose your 10 SOL and we'll figure it out from there. And I don't think it ever came to fruition. I'm not sure what the mechanics are there. And while they are separate companies, they're sister companies, you just got to look and see that these relationships exist inside this ecosystem. You approach everything with caution. That's why I don't spend a ton of time within certain projects. I mean, REMs and CyberSams are really the only things I hold that are like super long-term. But outside of that, like NFTs are volatile. What goes up comes down. That we're still figuring things out on a compliance standard and everything like that. But I kind of want to get your guys' opinion. Let's go Joe first and then Dor. What's your thoughts on the C3 situation?
Yeah, so the C3 situation, it's interesting to me because I always thought that Andrew was the owner and founder of C3, but I guess he wasn't. And Rifters is his own project, so he's kind of separating the entity, and I understand that, when you build something with a friend and want to go do your own thing, but how it happened and, how, being able to offload that much of SOL within an NFT before a big dump like that happened, there's going to be a lot of hearsay with that. So regardless, it just sucks to see anytime holders investing into a project and expecting a certain line of communication and they don't receive that. I think that's where I have the most problem with is like, all right, some things don't have to work out. Like everything does not succeed. I understand that. But if you have morals and values that align with that and are open, communication, transparent during the whole process, they can see, funds trending down, revenue that, yo, guys, listen, this might not be it. What it seemed to me was they didn't make out well in Web 2 and needed a cash grab. And they knew in Web 3 they were able to do that without, a lot of governing parties. That's my opinion on the situation.
I think that's a fair take, honestly. Fair. Yeah. Let's kick it over to you, Dor. What are your thoughts on this situation?
Yo, Joe, I kind of agree with you, dog. You said it well. One thing I've learned about being in this space, it's like Web 2 companies are slow to execute. And if you're slow to execute in Web 3, you're going to get outscaled and some projects going to overlap you. Community 3's whole thing was building this social engagement platform to, incentivize participation within the ecosystem. And you can use their coin use it by renting out of labs, et cetera, et cetera. However, the problem with that is there's other projects that have already created a social engagement platform and already scaling it quicker than them. What, Nomad's minted 2 weeks ago and it's already scaling quicker than them? Like, come on. And it's like, while I do commend Community 3 for paying the labs out, they were paying labs out for close to a year now, man. So if you were able to get in labs and early on, you were making what you probably made back way over your initial investment in it. And if you're buying an NFT that illiquid in a project that you know hasn't executed for a while, and you're buying an NFT that high, dog, maybe you should do a little bit more research. Also, it's like I met Brando, for transparency purpose. I met Brando when I was down in Miami. Nice guy. But I don't, and trying to accuse him of selling off is kind of difficult for me. It's just like everybody, like if I sold off Cyber Samurai NFTs, like several months ago before I knew there was some bad news coming. It's like, am I selling off the project or do I just need liquidity? I mean, just because you're an advisor on something, you're selling off things, doesn't mean you lose faith in the project or you're insider trading. Maybe you just don't want that asset anymore because it's so high, it's super illiquid with a lot of cash. So I think there's a lot more nuance to this, even in the traditional stock market. If you want to look at insider trading at its finest, don't mean to get political on the show, but Nancy Pelosi, yo, she outperforms the stock market like it's cool. If I was making laws, I'd be outperforming as well. So it's the whole insider trading thing, especially in this market, is a bit hard to like identify. But yeah, man, I do feel kind of bad for the individual who bought that bag, but at the same time, you should have done your own research, dude. I mean, nobody forced you to click that button to buy. That's a personal problem. Like, you could have talked to the team or something. Now, and if the team lied to you after you talked to them, yeah. But yeah, that's my take on Community 3, dog.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Dor. We tend to not do enough DYOR, and we stress it enough. I mean, even on this show, we come with no financial disclaimer. Anything we talk about is something that we have a risk tolerance for. Your risk tolerance is not ours. Your research is not ours. Don't buy something just because we tell you. But we always try to put stuff on the map, and we always try to explain why it's on our radar, right? And I think when you make a sizable investment like that, that is something you need to be like, dude, that is the cost of a decent house here in Jacksonville. Like, that is a lot of money. I don't want to say decent house. The market's run pretty high, but 240K is like, that's a good chunk of change, and you need to be doing your due diligence on it. So you're right. If they expressly told this individual who was buying it that they were going to continue to make payments, and then like 2 weeks later they said no, that's an issue. That's an issue. But we don't have access. We're not privy to that information. I think that's why we're always RareFUD. I think that's why we like to have a sensible take on the market, is because like Dorian was saying, dude, I got questions when I was selling one remnant. I still hold 21 of these guys. That they're like, why is he selling right now? And I'm like, dude, it's just because I wanted liquidity. Like, I have
exactly.
Like, it is still a sizable. Believe me, I'm not completely fading, but I do think that you shouldn't just bag hold the zero. Not saying we're going to zero, but you always take some risk off the table.
Can I get some profit?
It's gatekeepers, right? You see them in life all the time. Oh, I can take profit, but not you. God forbid, no, not you. You can't do it. Or I can talk about this topic, but not you. Not you, right? It's gatekeepers, man.
Exactly.
No way. It's a capitalistic world. You have to make money. As long as your morals and values align in a correct and true way. I'm sorry, that's how you have to move in a capitalistic market. Yeah, you're going to make some moves that might hurt some feelings, but you got to keep true to yourself and know that your morals and values are aligned. You're not out there to hurt anybody. And yeah, gatekeepers can go pound some sand, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Joe. There's a couple things. There's one thing I want to do a little side tangent on, is I've seen a lot of FUD about Sharkify lately because of what happened, right? So we've seen a ton of loans starting to default now.
Yeah,
a lot of people are attributing it to the sinking floor. People are calling, they're like, yo, we need a loan system that
a credit score system.
I'm like, okay, here we go. And people are just infuriated. Let me tell you the beauty of Sharkify, right? It is not your traditional loan system. It does not come with riskless investment. Neither does regular loans, but this is NFTs we are talking about. You are taking a bet. This is basically your call and put options on NFTs. When you are taking out a loan or you are lending to fund a loan, you know the risk. And when you are offering 240% APY, 180, whatever it is, that is not riskless, especially when it comes to NFT floors. So you have to make the projection that says, hey, in 7 days, 14 days, do I think this floor is going to be higher, at the same place, or lower? If it's lower, why are you funding it? Especially like I got a 280 SOL loan on my S&B. I let that default because I saw where the market was headed.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm not going to bag hold that. Bless that guy's heart. I saw my monkey on the floor at 200 yesterday. I almost bought it for the memes, but I thought that was just a slap in the face. Not going to do that. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, we were talking about taking out loans to make sure you are hedging your bets. That is the beauty of the tool. And now that NFTs are at their lowest, this is when I would think about, maybe I should put out some loans now. Maybe I should start funding some stuff and seeing if I can get some stuff on the low. You need to be looking at LTV, loan to value. So if the floor is 10 and you're funding it for 5, that's a really good loan. I would fund that because your risk your deviation there to where you are break even is 5 SOL if they default, right? And then if they don't, you make that interest. That is people need to think about it that way. This is not your traditional loan market. It grinds my gears seeing that on Twitter. Yo, you need to be doing your DYOR, your due diligence, and looking into the system. If you don't do that and you're calling for, oh man, nobody protected my investment, bro, this is crypto Wild West Web3. What did you think was going to happen?
Dog, yo, you ain't never lied. I'm all fired up over here. Dude, I see so many people complaining on the timeline. Oh, we need a Web3 credit score, blah, blah, blah. No, what you need to learn how to do is do your own research and stop giving out loans that are so high. It's like if the floor is 10, why are you issuing out a loan for 9.5 SOL over a 7-day period? What are you doing, dude? It's like, stop complaining about people defaulting and issue out loans that are in your favor. Guess what? If you issue out, I only issue out loans that are 45 to 50% of the current floor price. You know why? Because that means that floor price has to drop by 40 or like by 50 to 60% to be able to, before somebody considers defaulting. If nobody's taking a loan at that rate, guess what? I'm fine with it. I'm not about to give somebody 90% of our LTV value that's at 0.90 so they can profit by any type of volatility in the floor price. Screw that, man. So if you're out here getting wrecked on loans, instead of complaining that we need a Web3 credit score to build transparency and stuff, how about you just take a bit of personal responsibility and say, maybe I shouldn't be setting my loans so high, and that way they don't default. Guess what? Guess how many times that my loans defaulted? 0. Not a single time. Your boy managed to get a loan out on a Liberty Square for 6.5 SOL. I'm hoping they default, dog. I'm hoping. Like, anytime you issue out a loan, you should be hoping somebody defaults. If you don't have that feeling issuing out a loan, you're probably not issuing them right.
That's right. I think it is so silly to see that kind of FUD on the timeline. Sharkify, you are an amazing project. I love it. It's a different kind of loan system than Fract and everything like that. Fract came out with bonds. If you want that sort of system, go check them out. Like, we have options. I love options. And if you don't want to fund it, that is on you, right? And you need to pick and choose where you want to fund loans. That is my tangent for the day. Joe, do you have any strong feelings about loans right now? Because I love loans. I love Sharkify. It is great.
Oh yeah, I'm all for loans. I'm all for self-sovereignty of your ability to make decisions. And what I guess is the paradigm of decentralization at the end of the day in Web3. People want it. They want to make money quick. They don't, no KYC. They want self-sovereignty. But as soon as something turns back not into their favor, they scream for centralized things, right? A governance body or this or that, and their credit score. Like, yo, this is why people that are really in crypto and web, it's for self-sovereignty, and we really care about the structure of decentralization. So when we're able to have some of these centralized nuances within our Web3, they're not going to be governed. So you have to take that risk to account, and your risk management has to be proper. So stop getting into a space and using hard-earned freaking money, right, and throwing it at something that you have no idea about. It's okay. FOMO's hard, but guess what? Sit in a market for 6 months and don't make one trade. Theorize trades. Take time. I guarantee it's not going anywhere. It goes 24 hours a day. It'll be here. So that would just be my two cents.
Yep. I agree. I
Agreed.
absolutely agree. Speaking of fract and doing your own research and everything like that, a crowded play that happened yesterday with low float was Hades. Hades released their token. Hades Swap, in case you don't know, it is their governance token. It will be issued to ABC. It sounds like Lunar too. Am I correct on thinking that? Because I heard it was going to Lunar as well. If somebody has that information, please
Yeah,
let me know.
Lunar's
I have not
getting
done
it.
my research on it.
Yeah, Lunar's getting some Hades drop, bonk drop, a Lunar token. That will also be in the same ability of vesting with Frac token and Frac token investing for their governance token and Hades. So that whole DeFi governance programming is coming into that three type of project lane with Hades there. So
Yep. Yep. So I think that could be I would be much more interested in Lunar than ABC right now. Not saying ABC is bad. It does feel like it is a blue chip. I mean, it's straight up a blue chip. Very solid people invested in it. So look into that. But Hades had low float. So a lot of people got wrecked. A lot of people were buying at
Yep.
absurd prices, dude. Somebody bought like 0.08 Hades for like 30K, dude. It was insane. And so seeing
Yo,
that pop up on SoulScan, I was like, what is going on here? And it's because they have low float right now. You got to wait
yes,
for the
dude.
token to be dispersed to all the holders and everything like that.
Once again, man, it's another thing of people like not understanding how this stuff works, dude. It's like I saw somebody purchase 180 for like 64K, and I'm like, yep, that person got wrecked. So what's going on? It's like nobody's checking the liquidity and like what's available. A lot of these liquidity pools, especially for volatile tokens, use a what is that damn constant product pool. So essentially, the number of liquidity on both sides has to constantly equal a certain amount. And the higher or the less one side is, the higher the price of the other side. Because there's so little liquidity, like any type of huge purchase is going to massively increase the amount of how much one thing costs. Hopefully, like I'm trying to explain this as simple as possible, but like slippage is a complicated, or at least my ability to explain it clearly could probably be improved, but I hope you're getting the concept. So like with low liquidity, trying to make a 64K purchase when there's not 64K of liquidity in the thing is not going to work out. You have to wait till all these tokens are distributed before you try to make a trade that big. If you wanted to purchase a bunch of Hades, you needed to do it like 50 to $100 at a time with low liquidity like that, or you're going to get wrecked like those people did.
Yeah. I mean, it's so true. And if you have the tools at your disposal to check some of this stuff as well, if you want to, you can go on birdeye.so and check out the Hades token. You will see right now it is trading at a fully diluted market cap, which means if all tokens were circulating right now, which they are not, which is why it is probably trading so high right now, it is trading at almost 900 million fully diluted market cap. That is nuts right off the rip. That is insane. That is currently, if you want to check out Bonk, that is 9 times higher than Bonk. That's crazy. Like that is absolutely insane. Even Bonk hasn't been fully distributed. There's still people waiting for airdrops and everything like that, which they should be coming eventually. But right now, I'm not touching Hades with like at all. 0%, not touching it. If I could short it, I would, because right now it is trading above where it should. Now, do I think Hades is very promising? Heck yeah, man. I love Hades Swap. I do think they are a great product. I think AMMs I'm kind of up in the air about, but like they have backing. They have serious backing. And so I would not fade Hades Swap by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just not touching that token at all. 0%, not doing it, not until I see full distribution or distribution schedule where I know I have a competitive edge. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
So I actually got lucky on the Hades token because I put out an AMM video a while ago or whatnot. And like I talked about Hades Swap in there and they had a competition ongoing. I'm like, oh, I'll just submit it to the competition. And I won. So I got airdrops from Hades tokens. I forgot all about this thing. And then people were talking about how Hades token is up. And I'm like, I go look at the chart. I'm like, oh man, my Hades token is worth like 15. So I appreciate that. I immediately swapped out because I'm like, this thing is going down, dog. I'm like, I'll just take my 15 soul and run and then pick back up later.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, congratulations, one, on winning that. It's
Thanks, man.
nice to see good quality content creators like Door making nice little dubs over there. You love to
Thanks,
see it.
dude.
So, yeah, again, it is going back to I am not fading Hades the token. I'm just not touching it right now. I'm not fading Hades swap.
Nope.
I actually use them more than Magic Eden right now. I use Soul Sniper all the time. I think everybody should because, well, we're rare FUD, but I hate Magic Eden, and that's just the truth of it. So, Joe, what are you doing with Hades right now? Are you doing anything with it? Are you touching it? What's your plan there?
No, position to strength would have been into one of the projects beforehand and get to play like this. Any type of this, like anytime I feel like I'm missing out, I don't want to trade because I know I'm making that mistake. Anytime I'm asking myself, damn, should I be buying this shit? That's when I make my best trades. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna fade for now. Not from a position of strength. Don't understand the liquidity of it. Don't understand vesting yet. Don't understand APR or APY or neither. I don't know yet. So no, not playing that. Just one night I missed. There'll be plenty more.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of my take on it too. Yeah, keep an eye on it, guys. I do think there is going to be value at some point in time, but right now it is trading way over what I think it should be valued, and I think it will adjust as the market kind of realizes, like, this is low float. There's not a whole lot of liquidity on the books right now. You're going to get smacked with slippage if you try to trade anything above like $10, $100 maybe. So be careful when you do that. Let's talk about some other stuff. Let's talk about Claynosaurs, right? Claynosaurs, we love Claynosaurs, right? I think we've said that a while. We've been bull posting on them quite a bit. They did just make a new hire, another very talented animator. They released proof of work, talking a little bit about the scenes and put together a little compilation. They just continue to add some incredibly talented Web 2 animators, bringing them into Web 3, showing them the ropes. And I think Claynosaurs, again, not financial advice. It isn't, but they've rebounded off their lows here.
Yep.
If you're looking at the chart, they are one of the stronger charts in NFTs that I've seen. Clay sounds like it's going to be released this weekend. That's fingers crossed. We know how airdrops can be delayed, so hopefully it is not the case this time. But I love Claynosaurs. I did a look. I almost bought the ones I defaulted on. Not the same ones, but I almost re-entered in low 20s. I still think they're a decent buy right here, but I'm just so scared of NFTs until I see like a market-wide rebound. I still think this is a good time to make in the DCAs and stuff like that. But for me, I'm happy in spot Sol. I'm very happy. So if I were to make a play, I think Claynos is one of the strongest looking charts. Guys, I want your take on this. What do you think about Claynosaurs? Where are we going from here? Let's go with Dorian first and then Joe.
Well, I want to put it out there. Your boy has major bag bias. I have like 5 Claynos and a golden Claymaker. So, but I have bag bias because I only buy good projects. I'm just going to put that out there. So, no, dude, Cab animation's awesome. It's like, I love, once again, the thing I like most about Cab that I think projects such as Catalina Wells and Bubble Goose and any other IP plays out there can take away from this project is how Cab really understands the pumponomics of NFTs while also understands delivering as well. That's a unique mix that makes me extremely bullish on Claynosaurs. So while they haven't released a lot of their roadmap, it's like they have been doing things to keep the audience engaged, such as with the Claymaker drop and the upcoming Clay drop. And even I even think they're announced like, hey, they're going to like announce their roadmap or what's happening pretty soon. So even though we don't have full details about what's going on, I'm becoming more bullish on them. Don't get me wrong, it's like we're going to get a Bubble Goose later, but like what they're developing shows that their team has the experience to create an animated show or whatever they're looking to do in-house without having to seek some outside Web 2 studio, which we haven't really seen before. And if they're able to execute it, man, which I think they will, we can probably see Claynos run, especially because they have integrated a kind of gamification with the Claymakers and stuff. So I really can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. And as you said, Bison, they've had one of the strongest rebounds in terms of price. I brought most of my Claynos between 30 to 33, and I have 5 Claynos. And even when they dropped down to 21, I wasn't freaking out. I'm like, it's just a result of the market. And it clearly shows what type of momentum they have behind them because they're already almost bounced back. So I'm really looking forward to see what's coming.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they're sitting at about like mid 25s. You can get in right now. Looks like high 25s actually. So yeah. For me, this is a pretty strong bounce off of what, almost 20 right there. It was just about 20, and That's what you like to see. I mean, if you look at the chart, looks pretty good. Joe, I know you don't have any Clano exposure, but do you like Clanos? Are we looking at Clanos? Anything like that?
Yeah, so I sold all my positions for profit. I think I have Clay coming because I think I was still in the snapshot. I'm not sure how that'll work, but I'm just looking at the chart. Yeah, I do want a re-entry because I think once the map comes out and their full gamification of burning clay makers and clay for different armors, and you have your clans, and I think it really will pump. I think you got to give teams time to work like this. You just have to. You got to trust in the process. If you're investing in these, that's got to be your paradigm: a swing, a longer trade. So for my scalping mindset, my OCD in and out, I am looking at the chart, technical analysis wise, and we have a downtrending line of resistance that started back around $35, 35 sold before the big pump all the way to 43, and we've found that resistance is again at 28. We've came down, we dumped with a V recovery. We're creating an inverse head and shoulders, and we're bumping up against that downtrending resistance now, and we're kind of creating a descending triangle, all bullish momentum here, right? So my entry would be 23.9 to 24. I would love an entry there. However, if we broke above, I would look at 26.5 as a possible entry for that initial upswing back to the 30s. So I am looking, as a technical analysis, looking at an entry here because it is looking bullish. Consolidations happening in price action while listings are going down. So it's creating divergence as well. So yeah, from a technical analysis, it looks good, and fundamental, it looks good. So definitely looking for an entry here. But as we know, Sol volatility, BTC rips, Sol rips to 30. I don't know how well everything will hold. So that is the only thing that's holding me back a bit from really throwing money into the pot.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, Joe. I think it was like, look, if you got into it at the lows, you're looking at a nice 30% gain. I think you take your profits if you want to be safe, but you could have gotten in at a juicy entry that was pretty much at its all-time lows outside of minting cost, right? If you got in on the mint, that's the only time you got in cheaper. So I think they do have enough coming in. Like Dor said, I think that Cab and Co understand the pumponomics behind keeping a good Web3 facing exposure versus the Web2 development, right? The actual animation, the talking to different possible, if they're making a show, if they're making a game, making sure those connections are tight. I think they do a really good job of it. They do probably the best job of it. I would say the best job of it in sort of that IP realm. Speaking of IP, though, we do have some good news coming out that Bubble Goose, and I know, listen, guys, this was a medium-term play. I told you from the get-go, I have no problem with it going down or up or anything like that. We are down from my entries. This is not a shill or anything like that. I'm not looking to get out anytime soon. But Bubble Goose did announce that they are close to an agreement with Seth Green's studio. Stupid Buddy. That's huge. I mean, if they can get out, that's awesome. We know we talked about Carl Jones ad nauseum and the fact that he's made it as an animator. He has made successful animated cartoons that are adult focused. And I think this is the kind of show that would really propel Web3 to a new echelon if it executes right. So I think this is a high risk, kind of low risk, high reward place, because you're looking at like 3.5 at your floor price right now. I don't think it hurts to buy. Again, not financial advice. We are just bozos trading JPEGs on the internet, making a show out of it. But for me, this feels relatively low risk. If it plays out, great. If not, you lose 3.5 Sol. I've lost 3.5 Sol on worse bets. So on top of that, I did see a tweet coming from the Catalina Whale Mixer account in response to somebody talking about how they're focusing on music first before TV. I thought that was interesting personally. Thought their focus was on TV first, but if they're going on the music route, I think that's cool too. They are trying to be an all-encompassing entertainment Web3 studio, so it doesn't really surprise me, but I did think it was interesting. Maybe they're tackling the music first. Bubble Goose is tackling the TV show first, kind of being a proof of concept on both sides, and then they just kind of merge it all together, right? To me, that makes sense, but want to get your take on it. Let's go over to Dor because I know he has Bubble Goose exposure with me as well as Whale. And I know Joe has none. So what's going on, Dor?
So I still have my Bubble Goose exposure. Like, I'm not afraid of cutting bags when I'm down, and I said it before, I purchased Bubble Goose around 9-ish, and now they're at 3. So I'm underwater severely. So, but I'm not trying to show you. I just think this is a low entry. It's like just picking up 1 or 2 Bubble Goose gives you exposure to the potential upside of if anything does happen regarding Carl's show being adapted. And his connections in Web 2 still make me bullish on the project. It's like my fundamentals of why I picked up Bubble Goose is still there. Carl's a solid dude. The team that he has with Sidekicks over there is solid, man. So I'm really hoping this show goes kind of mainstream, because if it does, it'll be awesome to see how the NFT is integrated into that, whether it, gives holders more access to Carl or even more access to like potentially Seth Green and getting to meet some of these people in real life, which is like priceless in my opinion. In terms of Catalina Wells, I no longer have my well because I took out a loan right before this dump. So yeah, I do plan on getting back in probably when they like announce the next event or whatnot. But yeah, I was took a loan out on that and capitalized on that. Thanks, Bison, because you put me on the loan alpha game and I've been playing that for a while now. Can't hear you, Bison. You're muted.
It's just a great tool in order to hedge your downside, and I firmly believe that. I still think it's a great tool, and I think it's a great way to get in on low LTV assets if you want to make a bet on them. And still make profit off of it. So again, do not get the Sharkified FUD. You guys just need to learn how to use the platform a little better.
Get good.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while on RareFUD. So if you didn't do well with it, probably tune into RareFUD. But moving on through our list, let's talk a little bit about pilots, Tayo, Graphite. We do have the Graphite white paper. It sounds like it's coming next month. Gotta be interesting because I think Graphite could be the next minting protocol, could challenge Metaplex for their standard, and especially with Metaplex coming out with kind of the God standard is what some people are calling it, where they're going to make it enforceable that you have to pay royalties, which honestly, now that we've been without royalties, it's been very nice choosing what projects I want to support versus what projects I know I'm just getting in on a trade, in and out, boom. It's been nice having that. And I do think, look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think marketplace fees should be assessed to the seller. I think royalties should be assessed to the buyer. I think it should be optional. I think it should be able to choose if you want to pay the royalties, just because, again, you don't have to support projects are just a short term. You're not really interested in holding them too long. But if people are interested and they want the full features, I think you should gatekeep it. I think you should be, hey, if you pay royalties, then you can access our staking platform or our game or whatever it looks like. And I think you have the option to do so. That, to me, fits the Web3 ethos, in my opinion. But, God forbid we adapt that. If marketplace fees were just assessed to sellers, sellers would find liquidity elsewhere. If you control listings, that's why Magic Eden is so smart in how they do it. But, yeah, that's how it should be. It's not, is it going to be? Probably not. But Graphite, very interesting. Can't wait for that white paper. Pilots is another contentious point. We're just going to lay out the whole Tayo ecosystem. Their art has been revamped again. We're now looking at another delay sort of situation where are they coming out with this art? Are they coming out with that art? Who knows? At least they're showing it to the public and kind of getting feedback on it. I know some people love the new art. I'm personally in that camp. I like it a lot better than the old art. Some people love the old art, which perplexes me, but hey, whatever. Some people are calling the art looks like Valorant or some other project. Look, humans are very hard to nail on the generative side. Like it is incredibly hard. So when you're doing humans, they've been done a million different ways too, especially in the sci-fi kind of, lunar city sort of setting. There's going to be a lot of other projects that look somewhat similar and you can draw comparisons, but what else are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? I like the new art. They are planning on revealing one faction at a time, it sounds like. And the first faction should be at the beginning of next month. We'll see what happens with it. But Dor, want your take on it? Then we'll jump over to Joe. What's your take on the Tayo ecosystem right now? Are you holding pilots? Are you not? Are you excited for Graphite? What's going on here?
Man, I know I was like the biggest Tayo bull back in the day. But I have not been paying attention to the pilots ecosystem, man. I haven't really touched pilots. Like if I really want to enter into the Tayo ecosystem, I'd probably just pick up a Gen 1. But yeah, man, in terms of the art revamp, I like the old art, so I was no longer one of those guys, but I do like anime style art. So that kind of tickled my fancy. So the new art isn't bad, but if I had to pick one, it'd be the old art. But them reworking their art's not too huge in my opinion, because I know this might be bearish, but it's like, I believe that most times in NFTs, people don't care about the art. Rifters was hideous. That thing stayed at a 10 soul floor. It's like, I love my boys over at UGS. I'm a holder of UGS, but their art ain't it. So it's just like, I don't think people care about the art as much as they make it seem, especially on utility-based projects. If you're a boutique collection of one-on-ones, yes, I think this matters. But when you're just picking up the Tayo a pilot to be part of the Tayo ecosystem so you can earn graphite in some way, I don't think people care that much about the art, and it's just something to talk about.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Dor. I think the art is just for the collectible, what you see sort of side of it, but I think the utility and what they're building, some of the trailers they came out with, like the black market dealer or whatever, just that little 15-second clip. I don't think the play is like these are true collectibles and just what you see on the thumbnail, right? Like just the little profile picture. I think it is more so what you're going to get when you hold these things and what you stake for them for. And I think the gamification on that side of it, that's where I'm interested in. And so I
Yes.
think a lot of people, we're so confined sometimes in Web3 and it drives me nuts that it's like, oh, it has to be about the art. It has to be about the art. Then go support 101 art. I've been saying this for a while. Go
Thank you,
do it.
dude.
If you're all about the art, go support art. If you're all about um like generative art, I mean, okay, Bears looks pretty good. I love Mindfolk. We just had them on. I don't know. There's just projects out there that if that's what you really want, that there's plenty to go around. There's a project for everybody. But I think what you're going to get with pilots will be very interesting. And I do like pilots at this 20s level. This is what they were trading at when they just released on the market. So if you missed your chance to get pilots, if you weren't pilot listed or anything like that, this is a very interesting level for me. And I think, again, this is Tom's first project that he had from the ground up. And I don't think he's going to fail to deliver. I just think he wants to nail it. And sometimes that could be like analysis paralysis. Sometimes it's just better to ship it out to people so you can get to be the talk of the town. But art is very important. It's people's first impression. It's kind of like real estate photos, right? Are you using your smartphone and taking a picture like in the mirror of the bathroom where we can see you and that doesn't look great? Or is it professional pictures and you're using a great DSLR camera and all that good stuff, the whole nine, nice lens, and you make it look great, make it look appealing. You drive traffic in there. So I do see the point of both. I do think art is very important. I'm a 101 art maxi, but at the same time, when you're talking about a utility play like this, where it's gamification and everything like that, there has to be a sliding scale of how much you value the art on certain projects. And I think that is something that needs to be emphasized more. Not every project is going to be art focused, and that is okay. Joe, want to kick it over to you. What do you think about Tayo's right now? Pilots, Gen 1s, Gen 2s, and Graphite.
Yeah, man, I'm bullish on the whole ecosystem. Pilots, I did sell out everything on the pump. I needed liquidity for IRL, so I didn't move out of pilots. But from an entry wise, I mean, they are back to like where they came straight out of Mint. Listings are down and they're pretty stagnant right around that 23 to 24 sold floor. So yeah, entry before the next gamification happens. Tom has put a lot of time and money into this reveal process, and I think it's going to go well for them, and I think people are forgetting the whole customizing factors that are going to happen with their PFP, and it's supposed to be game, like looking like a game because it basically is a game. Like, so all these things will tie in with within each other for them. So yeah, bullish. Another one to look for an entry on if we start to feel like a little bit more confident and less volatility within our underlying asset. Sol, that's another great entry. So yeah, Tayo I'm bullish on. Gen 2 and Gen 1 I'm bullish as well. I think once people see Graphite kick and the missions and their revenue that they'll be producing in a year's span, in a 2-year span in their vesting period, I think there's a lot of people that are into that in that ecosystem, and we'll see that price kind of kick back up. A lot of people accumulated at 200 Sol when Sol was pumping, so a lot of people are in from like $6,000 to $8,000 USD value. So I imagine that fair market value will reach back to that once Graphite allocation is out and some market share leaves Metaplex and comes to Graphite Standard.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Graphite's going to be so slept on. I think that's a token I'm interested in trading, maybe right off the
Oh,
gate. Like I'm
B,
looking.
could I interject real quick? I'm so
Yeah, of
sorry.
course, of course.
Yeah, now you just said that and it sparked my head. I've used graphite to mint a few things now in the ecosystem. We used it for shards, the core that Tayo pilots got, the airdrop. That was a on graphite protocol to claim that, and that was like seamless in a second. I mean, it was like just like Path protocol. It was literally that quick, just like Path, but without the extra transaction approval. It was just boom, because I have auto approval. But so I just wanted to say that yeah, I've used Graphite and it's super seamless and I could see it taking over. Sorry, I just wanted to interject there because I forgot that I've used it before.
No, you're good. I'm a big fan of right now. Governance tokens so hot right now. I mean, we're talking about Motley Labs and their sauce. We just had Ryan on. If you missed that episode, go check it out. I love Ryan. I'm a Ryan Maxi now.
Ryan's awesome.
He's great. But yeah, Motley Labs. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to sauce. I'm looking forward to a open DAO where we have governance talking about the products we'll release and different sub DAOs that focus on marketing and everything like that. I mean, that's so cool to me. And I'm looking forward to it. And I think Graphite will operate in somewhat of a similar vein where we'll have, our input on it. And I think Graphite could really challenge Metaplex for the standard. And so if you're looking at that, one of the things I would say is look at cores like Joe was talking about. I mean, I think people are sleeping on Tayo cores. How I would play Tayo cores is look at the unique holder count of pilots and then look at the unique holder count of cores. And if cores is lower than pilots, I would buy. That's how I would play it. Maybe not that would be my first indication of buy. And then obviously look at technical analysis and everything like that. But I think people are sleeping on cores. Just make sure you have one. If you have a pilot, that's all I'll say about it. But yeah, I like Tayos. Tayos have actually held up relatively strong. I know they ran up to like 300 or something like that.
Yeah, 300, I think.
Yeah, but now they're down to 160. So kind of taking a hit like SMB from their floor. But look, I still think it's a blue chip. It will continue to be a blue chip. And once Graphite comes out, I think it's going to be a very promising project. So that's kind of where I'm at. Look, if governance tokens are what 2023 is all about, then make sure you are getting in on them from that standpoint. A last bit of news before we go into the alpha corner. Bonks, the cute little bonk PFP that came out from Omni Creative.
Is that the one that we faded live on stream and watched it pump? Yeah, that one.
We don't have to talk about that, Doro. It's okay. Yeah, that one. They are apparently revealing at the end of the week. It sounds like the 30th or 31st. And I would keep an eye on that. They have been adding a lot more 101s to the collection from various artists. And I think had they told me they were going to do that, just besides the name brands where I was like, oh, well, you have like a less than 1% chance of minting, way less than 1% chance of minting one of those or revealing into it. If I had known that it was a bunch of various art and it was going to be like kind of this art collaborative more so style, I probably wouldn't have hated it so hard. And some of these like artists that have, no followers or anything like that are coming out with some art that absolutely slaps. I love to see it. And I'm kind of excited for it. I am. I might try to buy some off the floor just to have a cool PFP. And I think we do have to look more at PFPs because once DeGods leaves the Solana ecosystem, I think PFPs are going to be very important. I think there isn't really like a strong content. You can look at your OK Bears. You can look at Blocksmith. I like the art upgrade from Blocksmith. You look at Cyber Samurai, not a shill, but also kind of a shill because I love Cyber Sams. You can look at a bunch of different PFPs, but we need like a strong contender for the PFP. They're going to ETH, right? They're going to be fighting with Yuga for the top PFP project, in my opinion. Good luck with that. They're also going to Polygon, so Utes will be the face of Polygon almost